We alive.
I'm going to call this meeting of the East Veterans Elementary School Building Committee to order. And I'll ask Chris for a roll call vote for attendance.
Yes. Jonathan Pope,
Here.
thank you. Ben Lummis,
Here.
thank you. Kathy Clancy,
Here.
thank you. Richard Sapphire,
Here.
thank you. Matt Fusco. Not
No,
present.
Matt's not here today.
Yep, that's okay. Sorry, I didn't take as much of the pre looking at everyone before, so sorry. I'm just gonna read out everyone. Amy Pasquarello,
Here.
thank you. Grant Harris,
I am here.
thank you. John Dunn,
Here.
thank you. Gary Frisch,
Here.
thank you. Katie Eunice,
Yep. Here.
thank you. Tony Gross, not in attendance yet. And Stacy Capone,
Here.
thank you.
So we have a quorum. This meeting is recorded by video and audio in accordance with the state open meeting law, consistent with the governor's orders suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law and banning certain gatherings such as in-person meetings. The meeting will be conducted by remote participation. The public may not physically attend this meeting, but every effort will be made to allow the public to view and listen to the meeting in real time and participate when necessary. That being said, the first order of business is the approval of the minutes of the meeting of
May 11th.
May 11th. Are there any corrections or omissions? I have one. I believe you showing that the meeting started at 5:01, but I think it was 4:30.
No, that's that may have been a clerical error on my part.
Closer to that.
Yep, I'll verify that time frame.
Yeah.
Thank you. Or update that.
Anything else? I'll make a motion that we approve the meeting minutes of May 11th, was it? As amended. And I so move.
Second.
Okay. Chris, can we have a roll call vote?
Yep, Jonathan Pope,
Yes.
thank you. Ben Lummis,
Yes.
thank you. Kathy Clancy,
Yes.
thank you. Richard Sapphire,
Yes.
thank you. Matt's not on. Amy Pasquarello,
Yes.
thank you. Grant Harris,
Yes.
thank you. John Dunn,
Yes.
thank you. Gary Frisch,
Yes.
thank you. Katie Eunice,
Yes.
thank you. Stacy Capone,
Yes.
thank you.
It passes unanimously. Thank you very much. The next invoices, I believe we have 10 invoices from 6 or 7 different purveyors, and I'm going to hand it over to Brian to explain it all.
Thank you, Jonathan. So good evening, everybody. I'm actually reporting live from East Veterans today. Unfortunately, my background, I couldn't get that switched over, but I'm here in one of the classrooms. So it's exciting to be here on site. We do have a number of invoices. Let me share my screen so we can review those together. All right, you should be able to see my screen now. Yep. Okay. So, yeah, we have the standard bunch and a few more. Our first invoice for WT Rich, requisition number 22 in the amount of $1,694,943 is for the work that's been completed this past month in May. They're really working all around the building, top to bottom, inside and out. Jordan Whittier invoice number 49 in the amount of $112,108. That covers their contract administration for the month of May. And also, there's a small amount for the technology procurement. I think that was about $6,000. So that covers their total billing for last month. CBRE Heary, or Turner & Townsend Heary, as we go by now. We have our monthly invoice for the project management that providing on the on-site and offsite for the month of May. That's in the amount of $60,000. Invoice number PJIN 0036583. Then with UTS, we have a small invoice for some of the concrete testing. We've been doing some of the pours on site for some of the sidewalks. And that's what that's for. Total of $645 on invoice number 105928. Then we have a number of technology invoices for Apple. We have two. These are two invoices, but kind of for the same thing. These are for the iPad mini and some of the accessories. So these invoices have been also reviewed by the school department, who's accepting delivery of these items. We have two invoices, invoice number AL 21771246 and AL 21823728. And those two total $11.95 and 90 cents. Comtract has installed the data connections within the school. So the school is now wired up to connect to the other city and school infrastructure. And they are submitting two bills for that work. And those are invoices number 3423992 and 3424005. Those two invoices total $37,892 and 94 cents. Then we have finally from Amazon, we have two invoices, IPQ3 4714 1X94 and IYQ1 4G4X14NP. So those are maybe just a little bit trickier than the Turner & Townsend Heary ones. Those are for some USB hub adapters and some other computer power connectors, and they total $2,330.17. So altogether, 9 invoices for approval this month, a total of $1,909,115.01.
Any questions? Okay, Seeing none?
Just a comment, Jonathan. I think
okay.
did I count there's 10 invoices or am I just getting to the end of the day and being?
Oh, yep. I think I said 9. Yep. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. My bad. 10 invoices. Thank you, John. Keep me on my toes.
Invoices from 6 businesses.
From 7.
7. Yep.
7. Yeah.
Okay. So that being said, if there's no other questions or comments, I will make a motion that we approve the 7 invoices as presented for the total amount of $1,909,115.01. And I so move.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Chris, could we have a roll call vote?
Yes. Jonathan Pope.
Yes.
Thank you. Ben Lummis.
Yes.
Thank you. Kathy Clancy.
Yes.
Thank you. Richard Sapphire.
Yes.
Thank you. Amy Pasquarello.
Yes.
Thank you. Grant Harris.
Yes.
Thank you. John Dunn.
Yes.
Thank you. Gary Frisch.
Yes.
Thank you. Katie Eunice.
Yes.
Thank you. And Stacy Capone.
Yes.
Thank you.
Passes unanimously. Thank you very much. And we'll move on to the updates, and I'll turn it back to Brian. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. All right, let's bring up some imagery for you. Can you see the right screen? See my cursor
Yep.
here, monthly
Yes,
update?
we do.
Okay, cool. Great. So I did want to do a little shout out to Isaac, who's been working with us here on site for the past few weeks. He was able to update these colors. As you know, we went through transition, reorganization from CBRE Erie to Turner and Townsend Erie. So, we have our own color scheme now. And so we've updated our weekly report and now also the monthly report. So yeah, there's lots of progress going on here at the facility. Each time I'm out here, I'm seeing a lot of new items being wrapped up. It's very exciting. So here you can see the image at the exterior, at the front of the school, where the glulam columns are being installed. Today, they're also installing some of the ceilings. Actually, if you look closely, you can see kind of these gray lines. Those are the tracks that will support the linear ceiling elements that are going in there. Got another shot here too of the outside. Whoops, that went a little too fast. So here you can see in the back of the school, the first piece of playground equipment that's been set. Another very exciting feature. Now you can also see that from the upper floors. Those of you that have been out to the school and toured it, we have those extended learning spaces, and you have a nice view onto the playground from those spaces. Then on the inside of the building, here's a shot of the gymnasium. A lot of those items are getting finished up. The floor is all in. We have the wall pads, and you can even see the speakers here. I know Matt's excited about rocking out in the new gym. So we've got that going for him. And here's a shot of the lobby where you can see the tile work that's all complete. Maybe a little hard to see because of the color, but that's all the hard tile, and then the curved carpet areas are also being installed. So like I said, each time, there's additional layer of finishes that come in. You can even see some of the casework here that's stacked up, and a lot of that has already been moved and is now installed. So lots of progress. So overall, despite the challenges we've been facing, we continue to track within the budget and towards an on-time fall opening. That has not been easy. Right now, we have a lot of punch list work happening on the job, as well as we're getting the finishes installed. So the punch list, just in case some of you aren't familiar or don't remember, those are the final lists of work that need to be completed. So the architect will go through and note any deficiencies, and these lists become quite long. But it can be including, little touch-up spots of paint or little dings, or maybe a tile that wasn't quite installed correctly. Thankfully, there haven't been any major issues on the punch list. So these are all the small things, but these are all the checks and balances that we put in place to make sure that we turn over quality building for startup in the fall. So besides the punch list work, like I said, a lot of the finishes are going in. Today, they were installing some of the walk-off mats at the entry. I think those will be a nice touch, help to keep the school cleaner as well. And as far as issues go, we've talked a lot about, permanent power that has definitely plagued this project. There have been a number of items that have affected that, and it's a challenge that we continue to work with. We've been talking about this for months. We've jumped through many hoops and overcome many obstacles to get where we are today. And I'm thankful really to the whole team for doing a good job of working creatively together and cooperating to find these resolutions. We had a good meeting today with the Gloucester Building Department, with the building inspector and the electrical inspector. So they were out on site looking at the installation of the temporary switchgear. So as you remember, since we didn't get the permanent switchgear in time, we still don't have it, we have had to install temporary measures to bring the full power to the building. So those are just outside the main electrical room. They're these large cabinets that include the main electrical switches. So they were out here to look at the final installation of those and give us their blessing to bring the students in using this temporary switchgear. So we were expecting that, but at the same time, it's also a major accomplishment to get that confirmed. We will have to do some minor changes to the wall configuration. So just to have everything safe for when the students are here, that's kind of what we were expecting anyway. But knowing that we can open the school with the current gear in place is a huge relief. I think we'll all sleep a little better knowing that we have the green light to move forward with that. Any questions on any of those items so far?
Brian, so could you forward the photos? I'd like to show some of those photos to school committee on Wednesday. So you could forward any photos you have recently, that'd be great.
Just on the project in general?
Yeah, just on the updates. I haven't been in there for a little while. They haven't been there for a while, and as you said, and other folks who have been in have told me that the progress now is, every day is, sort of leaping ahead. So just those photos you showed at the beginning would be helpful.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Thank you.
Okay, so let me go on to the next slide here. All right, so we're all busy working together, trying to get this school ready in time. We have people working late many days. We're working 6 days a week and forging ahead. And I think the good news is that we're all still getting along pretty well, because that's not always the case at the end of the job, especially when the stakes are high. To date, we've billed 85% of the project budget. Although we have been tapping into some of the contingency to deal with some of these items, we still have a healthy amount that should see us through the end of the job. The owner billings have also picked up. Just like we've seen, we're getting more and more of these invoices for technology and equipment, and the furniture invoices are going to start rolling in as well. So to date, we've billed out 23% of the contracts that have been awarded for the owner items. And those contracts are pretty much all out there. There's a few small ones that remain, but we're like 99% awarded on those contracts. And we have.
Excuse me, Brian.
Yes.
How much or what percentage of the contingencies have been allocated, and what remains?
So on this graph here, you can see 1% of the contingencies have been used.
Okay.
And 6% remains.
Thanks.
Yep. We've updated the number on the contracts.
Sorry, Brian,
Yep.
just to clarify that, does that mean that 6% of total budget was allocated for contingency and 1% of that was used? As opposed to 6%?
7%.
Okay.
That was allocated, 1% that's been used.
Okay, great. Of the project budget, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So yeah, these contracts have been updated. The potential change orders we've dropped again from last month. So, I guess that's to be expected, but it's also a nice thing, because sometimes it could go in the opposite direction if lots of big issues come up at the end of the job. But that hasn't been the case here. So we are working through, there continue to be things that arise, and we work through them. Right now, we have about 43 open change orders that we are resolving. The number here says over 100, but I think we're probably close to 150 by this point. And with these change orders, we have some credit change orders and some debit change orders. So it doesn't necessarily mean that this number, is what we're going to take a hit on, because some of them are credits that we are working through. And to date, about $375,000 worth of change orders. That includes all the change orders as of this past month, so 4 total. And as you can see on all of these, virtually all of them are items that we've added back to the project to improve the overall functionality of the school and have a much nicer facility. And these were some items that we had to cut in the beginning due to the budget, but it's great that we've been able to add those back in. So here we have our next change order. This is change order number 5, but as you can see, the amount here is for $0. So we've been talking about this already for some time as we've been watching the scheduled dates. And with what I just mentioned a little bit ago, all these issues that we faced concerning the permanent power and getting the switchgear in place. So the substantial completion date, according to the contract, was written in for the 2nd of June, 2023. So we've known already for some time now, because that permanent switchgear did not ship, that we would not be able to hit that substantial completion date. So our current projection is for June 30th. W.T. Rich has confirmed that they will be able to meet that date. So we are offering a no-cost change to the project. We will be changing the official substantial completion date per contract from June 2nd to June 30th, but that does not change the final completion date. So we have talked about this a little bit before in past meetings, but just to give a little refresher on this, the substantial completion date indicates when pretty much the work is done on the job. There might be some few outstanding items that remain, but the building will be able to be habitable and we will get the certificate of occupancy. So this is a formality to approve this change order officially and make it part of the contract so that W.T. Rich can move forward in keeping with the terms of the contract. So once again, there's no cost change, but we are changing the official substantial completion date from June 2nd to June 30th. So I'd like to get a vote to make this a permanent part of their contract.
So moved.
Um,
To change the substantial completion date from June 2nd to June 30th. How about that, John? Is that better, John?
It's change order 005.
Right.
And
Second.
there you go. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Chris, can we have a roll call vote?
Yep. Jonathan Pope.
Yes.
Thank you. Ben Lemus.
Yes.
Thank you. Kathy Clancy.
Yes.
Thank you. Richard Sapphire.
Yes.
Thank you. Amy Pasquarello.
Yes.
Thank you. Grant Harris.
Yes.
Thank you. John Dunn. John.
Excuse me, yes.
Thank you. Gary Frisch.
Yes.
Thank you. Katie Eunice.
Yes.
Thank you. And Stacy Capone.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, it passes unanimously. Thank you very
All
much.
right.
And back to
Thank you
Brian.
all. Thank
Just
you.
1 second, Brian, before you go, I just want to acknowledge, I mean, that's an easy vote to make, but also a big milestone. If you're changing the substantial completion date 2 years away, it doesn't mean much. But if you change it to just within the month, especially when you're this close to it, it means a lot. So we are almost there, and that's not a small thing in any community. So kudos to once again, our project team for managing this so incredibly well.
Thank you, Ben. We all appreciate that. And it is our pleasure. It's a challenge, but it's our pleasure to do this work. We're all professionals. Of course, this is, in some ways, it's a job, but it's really more than a job. I think, and I think this is, also part of the reason that we have been successful. I think everyone on this team takes pride in doing a good job for the community, building something that will help the students, help them in their educational program, help them grow up to be good citizens of the community, and provide nice, sustainable facilities that'll help the overall city operations for many years to come.
Well put, thank you.
All right.
Just a second before we move on. Grant, I see Michelle is in as an attendee. Maybe
I'll promote her.
you want to promote her. Thank you.
Okay. Is Michelle in? I think we're getting. Okay, so cash flow, these are standard reports that we have, in our typical monthly report. So, we're pushing the $55 million mark on total expenses. We have the projections for the month. They will be dropping a little bit. We've hit pretty much the peak, as we are very close to the substantial completion date. And we're only talking not even 4 weeks from now. And here we have the individual cash flows for each of the items, as you guys have seen in your monthly report. Looking at the schedule, our next school building committee meeting will be July 13th. That means we will be substantially complete and have our certificate of occupancy. So that's something to, I guess, let that sink in. Next time we're meeting, that the project will be just about, totally finished. We're finishing up playground work. We showed you some images of that, all the finishes that are going in. We're going to start having the furniture arriving as well. So that's going to be an exciting thing as well. Here on the completion tracking. So with this change order now, we have a 0-day variance. The total variance, for the job is 20 days, but, according to the contract update, that is now 0. So, yeah, we continue to all be busy on the site. From the OPM side, there's not too much new. We're working on many levels. We're working on making sure that the quality control is there, as we get to this final stage of the job. We're working with some of the MSBA updates and some changes there, getting the reimbursements in, and also with assisting with the move and disposal that's planned for the 2 schools, for St. Anne's and for East Gloucester. That's right around the corner. Matt Fusco has been great helping to get things organized within the schools, corralling the teachers and staff and getting them aligned on the goals that we need to accomplish to get that move handled in a smooth way. And we have STV that's been helping us in that capacity as well. So everything seems to be tracking in the right direction. On the community side, I think I've said this, for the last 3 months in a row, that things continue to be pretty quiet, which is a great thing. It is a different stage in the project. Early on, when we were doing a lot of compacting groundwork, that tends to be more disruptive to the community. But now that the building is closed and finished, I think the neighborhood is really improved by having this nice facility on site. And things are also pretty quiet, so there's not really much disruption. We will continue to have large deliveries coming in, as we have some large site items for the playground and all the furniture that's going to be delivered, and then we'll have the moves come. But those trucks are able to get in here pretty easily, so it's not really much of a disruption. As far as the designer goes, I mentioned earlier that Doran Whittier has been very busy working on the punch list. So that is a very important part to really help stitch this all up and make sure that, nothing is missed. Sometimes when the different contractors are on site, they're focused on getting the work done, and it's easy for little things to get missed here and there. But the architect plays an important role with coming through and ensuring that quality is in place, and also helping to work out any final issues that come up. There are always new things coming up, week in, week out. And Doran Whittier has been good with finding quick resolutions to, different challenges that we might face, that the project can continue moving forward. We do have submittals that are coming in now, but the submittals, we have 19 open submittals. These are for mostly for closeout items. So that can be, warranties, manuals, drawings, things of that nature, rather than approving materials, which was happening on the early part of the jobs. So you can see the numbers here. I won't go through all of those. And, same thing as we've been talking about with the contractor. We have a large number of workers on site. I think we're hovering between 70 and 80 workers on a daily basis that are out here. And a total of over 140,000 worker hours to date with 0 accidents. So that's something that I think goes to the credit of W.T. Rich. They have a lot of protocols in place and staffing to ensure proper safety on these jobs. And that's not something to take for granted. I don't know if some of you remember, but it wasn't that long ago in Boston, I think over a few weeks, there were a number of major incidents on construction sites, explosions, on one time, people losing their lives. So this is a very dangerous business that you're in. You can see I'm wearing my hard hat and my yellow vest. But it takes a good organization to make sure that all these people are on site, that they understand what the dangers are, that they can work together, that there are safe protocols in place to keep the work going, but most importantly, to keep the staff out here safe. So I think that's great that, we're almost at the end of the job and we haven't had any major accidents. So 5 change orders. Yeah, you can see these numbers here. So milestones, there aren't any new updates. I've mentioned this before, the sequence of the work has had to change as a result of these material delays. So we have these final 4 milestones that we're looking to get wrapped up, but they're going to be happening pretty much simultaneously within the next few weeks. And this just shows you the overall schedule. So this was the substantial completion date that we had originally per contract. Here's where we are, and this is where the updated schedule is. So, if you look at the overall span of this, that's really not that much further. And given the amount of issues that we faced, I think that's commendable, to finish up within that time frame. We've had a lot of flexibility in the team with the contractor and the architect to work through the issues that have come up in creative ways and be able to keep us on schedule. So for the fancy drone video, I'm going to turn it over to our navigator, Alex.
Oh boy, I got open space, Brian.
Oh, you do?
We're
Okay.
shifting inside.
Always full of surprises. That's okay.
Actually, let me just see when my drone video was. I feel like we did drone last time. Let me just double check here.
I thought we did the open space last time, but I could be mistaken.
I
think it was drone, but let's look at.
yeah, we're gonna go inside today.
Let's go
I'm
inside.
gonna take a spin inside. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right, so I'm gonna bring you down through the 3rd floor. Again, this is the most finished floor at this point. We're actually doing our final clean now. So you can tell it's pretty immaculate up there. We're messing around with some punch list items, as Brian mentioned, but again, for the most part, what you see is what you get in terms of, a really nice final spit shine, if you want to call it. So again, 3rd floor is in really good shape. I'll just bring you down the hallway. Show you that extended learning space. Come on. The lights went off. There we go. So again, this is kind of final, final picture of what you're going to get in terms of that extended learning space, which I think is one of the coolest spaces in the school. So you can see a lot of the millwork's complete, casework, the millwork benches, both in the classrooms and the extended learning, all in kind of a really nice, neat, finished space. I'll bring you down to second floor, show you the gymnasium. Brian had a couple pictures beforehand earlier in the meeting, but you can see a lot of the wall pads going up. You have the mirrors installed as well, the acoustical wall panels, shades all installed, basketball courts installed. So we're trying to get a lot of the stuff done up high with the lift work, and then kind of walk our way out that space with the final striping in the cool logo that we decided to do in the center court. So the gym's in really good shape. You know, I think this last piece is just the proscenium finish, which is kind of gets wrapped in a millwork paneling system. You can see the plywood there now, but eventually, I'd say within the next week or so, that metal, that wood panel goes on and really finishes the space off nicely. Bring you to the media center. Let's see here, get a full shot. So again, the media center is in really good shape. We installed the circulation desk over the past week, so that's now been installed. You can see the floating lights that we have in that space as well. This was before permanent power, which is probably why the lights aren't on. It was on May 30th, but now that we've got permanent power activated within the building, that whole space is lit up pretty nicely. So again, you can
Alex,
yeah, go ahead.
go to the next version of this
I
room.
don't have it, Tom, or else I
Oh,
would.
okay. Yeah,
Or
no,
else
it's
I
a
would.
lot cleaner.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'll just bring you to the art room before we go downstairs. So again, this is all epoxy flooring. That's all been covered and protected. You've got the casework up, that garage door that we've been talking about for quite a while has been installed. The motor's been installed. So again, this is kind of a nice industrialized art room space that Doran Whittier put together. Really coming along nicely. Bring it down to the first floor. Show you the cafeteria, which has kind of been our last walking out the door kind of area, just so you guys are aware. It's kind of the last large space we have to store material. This has since been cleared out.
It has. It's
if
all
I had,
clean.
I don't think I have that June. Maybe I
It was
do.
finished today. It was finished today, so you wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't have that one updated yet, but again, this is kind of our walking out the building space, lay down space to be used. But again, to Tom's point, it's been pretty well cleared at this point.
You can't see the lights are on there now. It looks
Yeah.
really cool. I was just commenting to someone here today, it has a very nice feel, and that sun scheme, that Doran Whittier put in the ceiling, you can really catch the sense of that. And it seems like it's a nice space.
Yeah, you can see kind of the access point to the kitchen. The servery area has now been installed. You've got the roll-up door too as a serving area. So again, it's really coming together. I got to credit, Tom and those guys on site. They're obviously not on this call, but they're busting their butts. Brian said working 6 days a week, working extended hours to make sure we overcome, some of these larger ticket items that have pushed us back a little bit. So again, kudos to those guys. This is the mailroom. A lot of cabinet space, a lot of countertop space. These mail slots just came in the other day. And then the admin space is in really good shape. Try to get to the main lobby too. Show that space. So we have our tile floor down. We've got that grand stair that's been rubber treaded at this point. And then again, we've got a good amount of casework and finished carpentry in this week that's starting to go in, including the display cases in the main lobby, the display cases near the elevator. Again, so it's really an all-out sprint at this point, but we're going to get there. So the meeting today with the inspectors and the building commissioner was a big step for us, for them to allow us some flexibility with that temporary switch gear. So that was like I said, a monumental decision for them to make today, which was great for us. So I'll leave it at that. Any questions?
Hey, Alex, you're a pretty good guy, and if you want to be a great guy, is there some way we can show this to school committee on Friday?
Let us
me-
do the update. Let us get
Yeah.
an update from.
Yeah, we'll get you the
The
latest
week
greatest,
then.
Ben.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
What
Yeah,
day
you
is the school committee?
The Wednesday at, 6 PM.
Okay,
Yep,
All right.
June 14th.
That'd be a great help. And because as you said, things are moving so quickly now and there's been huge advancements since any of us have been in there and it looks fantastic. Looks just
Yep.
incredible.
yep,
All right, thank you.
sure thing.
I'll have to give you a little instructions about how to walk through this, but it's pretty easy to
Um,
navigate.
Yeah, we'll
Great.
figure that one out.
That'd be helpful. Thank you.
So do you still want the other pictures or do you want to use the open space? I mean, open space, you can see anything you want inside or outside.
Yeah, the photos too will be good.
Okay.
Because we can also use that just for the website as well
Okay, great.
and Facebook, social media. Great, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Alex. That wraps up everything I have for the update this month. Unless anyone has anything new or any questions.
Jonathan, do you have a question?
I don't have any questions. I would like to just thank everybody because this project to be on the home stretch at this point and have it pretty much assured we're going to open for the start of school is just a phenomenal achievement. It's like, signing up to run a marathon and then finding out there was a hurricane that you had to run it in and they didn't cancel it, we still had to do it, so I would just like to thank everybody that the WT Rich and it's not CBR Harry anymore, it's Turner or something. You guys keep changing your name. It's still Brian.
I think we're on the third name. I think we're on your third name at this point.
Yeah, and Michelle and the architects and the building committee and the support from the school committee and the support from the community. There's been so many incredible obstacles that we have overcome to get to this point, and I'm so thrilled. And I'd just like to thank everybody.
Absolutely. 100%.
Other than that, let's start planning the parties.
Oh, but speaking of which, so we have a tentative date for September 21st for the so-called groundbreaking. And want to just run that by this group.
We don't want to we're not breaking ground anymore,
No,
Ben,
we did
unfortunately.
Okay.
We already
Ribbon
did.
cutting,
We're gonna
sorry,
cut
ribbon
ribbons.
cutting. Thank you, Alex.
I think he's thinking of the next
Always
school.
helpful, always helpful. No, the ribbon cutting. So September 21st. That gives the school some time to get in there and get things sort of, running and sort of thing. And then we'll work with learn what we did with West Parish and follow that blueprint, but see, how we put our own spin on it. But so folks for now should hold the morning of September 21st, okay?
And we're still looking at August 26th for a community open to the community walkthrough.
Yeah, let me just look at that again. Yeah, that's a tentative date for now.
Yeah.
And that's a Saturday. Yeah. Yes, I think that's okay. Yep, that'd be okay.
Ben, is that ribbon cutting? Is that the MSBA ribbon cutting or
Yes.
is that? Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
I mean, I think it's all one thing, right? We don't do different things, right?
That's correct. I just didn't know
what-
if it was already coordinated with them.
No, I think we,
No,
so
not yet.
I don't know. Brian, is something you communicate to them? Who?
Yes.
is that?
So now that I have a date in mind, I can reach out to them and ask them if that's okay.
Okay, great. That'd be great.
Ben, can you say the date again for the community walkthrough tentative?
Saturday, August 26th.
Thank you.
And did you want architects there or?
We haven't gotten to the program or invite list yet, but
Okay,
I don't, I mean, yeah, I just be making. Yeah, I haven't gotten there yet.
People be wanting to have you sign autographs on the program.
that's what I was thinking, John.
That's probably the case.
I think I talked to Matt a little bit about putting something together for the kids a narrative for the kids, so.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I hesitate, Michelle, is to call upon you on the weekend here, so, but we of course would love to have you guys there. I just don't want to, without talking further, folks, try to commit you to a weekend, to Saturday.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I think I'll work with Matt to put together some narratives for the children. I think they're going to be your guides. Yeah. And it's always better when they do it than when we do it anyway.
Yeah, it's great when they do it. Absolutely, 100%.
Okay. Anything else before we adjourn?
Motion
Seeing
to
nothing?
adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Okay. Chris, can we have a roll call vote?
Yes, Jonathan Pope.
Yes.
Thank you. Ben Lemus.
Yes.
Thank you. Kathy Clancy.
Yes.
Thank you. Richard Sapphire.
Yes.
Thank you. Amy Pasquarello.
Yes.
Thank you. Grant Harris.
Yep.
Thank you. John Dunn. Is John still on?
Not here, not here.
Oh, okay. Not present. Gary Frisch.
Yes.
Thank you. Katie Eunice.
Yes.
Thank you. And Stacy Capone.
Yes.
Thank you.
This meeting's adjourned. Thank you all very much. And we'll see you in a month when the building is substantially complete.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Wait.